doing today?
Pretty good, thank you.
All right. Why did your family immigrate to the United States? How did they get to the United States? In other words, sponsor, visa, and where have you lived, city or state?
I came to the United States by myself. I left Vietnam in 1981. During that time, I was 18 years old. I left the country because the communist take over South Vietnam. So during that time, everybody was controlled by the communist government. So I cannot go to school. So I have to escape, to Vietnam, came to the Thailand refugee camp. So because I want to get freedom, I want to get my education, and be a good future. That's why I left Vietnam.
So before leaving Vietnam, what did you know about your family? Whether it's your parents or your grandparents prior to the immigrations. Like, where did they come from? What type of jobs did they have? And what is your source of information?
All my family, is live in South Vietnam. By the end of the South Vietnam, the city called Kiên Giang. So my family is a farmer. So we own a lot of land there, and grow rice. A big huge field rice. So during that time, the communist take over South Vietnam. They take everything from us. So we have only one house to live on there, and a little bit of land, to grow rice. So, and they control all my family property. So, so that's why, my parents asked me, why don't you leave Vietnam with my friend, and go to the escape and go to a different country to get some freedom and get some education.
So, were you angry that the Communist Party came and...
Tell you the truth, I never stayed with the communist because my parents, right, was in North Vietnam before. They lived with the communists. So they say that, they can't live with the communists. So that's why they escaped, from the North Vietnam and they moved to the South Vietnam, get more freedom and, and living there. So, and they, my parents left North Vietnam in 1954 and they came to the South, and they have, they living in the South, so they opened a lot of rice field, during that time, with free land, so everybody can go get, just put the flag on it, and it's your property, and you have to cut all the tree, the grass, made a property of yourself.
So the flags represent markings.
Yeah, marking, in your property,
okay.
And depend on, during that time, South Vietnam is a huge field, and you just go in there, and you just chop out the tree, and the grass, and you get the land if you want, and that belongs to you, and that, and then later on, the government come and they see your flag, and your property, the line of your property, and they do the paperwork, and that it belongs to your land.
Well, okay, I know this information, but can you just talk about some of the relatives that are still in Vietnam and how often do you get to see them?
Oh, I have 3 brothers and 5 sisters, and most of them, they get married and have family. They still in Vietnam, so I come to visit them, about 6 times when I left the country. So I left in 1981, and the first time I come back to see my family in 1992. And and after that, about a couple more years, I come back, and visit my family and my brother or my relative there.
How did you feel when you first see them? When you first came back?
Oh, I feel excited, because I left the country about 10 years, and after 10 years, everything is changing. So when I left Vietnam, I thought I never have the chance to go back because the company they don't let anybody come back to visit relative. So when I left Vietnam, right, my feeling it kind of never come back to see my parents or my relative, my brother, sister, And after 10 years, I was in the United States, and I have a chance to go back there and visit them. So I feel very happy, and all my family and my relative, they happy to see me back, to visit them.
Well, so now since we're on the topic of family and parents, do you remember what kind of jobs did your parents have? If your parents were self-employed, what type of business they had?
Yeah, they was they were the farmer. They own the land, the farmer, so they grow rice, and that's why we have about 10 to 20 acres growing rice.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and that's why we have to we have to find somebody to work for us also too, and we cannot do by ourselves, so
Was it a good business? Was there any?
Oh, more, it where I live, it kind of it's huge for right, because that is about thousand of acre of field rice for everybody. Everyone over there is a farmer. They grow rice. They work on the rice field. So that's why my family in the rice field. Everybody own their own rice field. So they never work for anybody. They work for themselves.
Okay, good. Do you remember? Can you describe your relationship with your parents as you were growing up?
Oh yeah, my parents is very nice. I learned a lot from them. I was born there and I grow up. I go elementary school and I go to high school there. So after I finished middle school and I go and the company take over. So I cannot attend high school. I still have attend high school, but during that time they keep make all the rule they have to go to the army. So during that time I was 16 to 18. I was attend high school, so I never stay home much. During the daytime I go to school, and at night time I escape from my family. I go hiding on the bush or on the river, because if you stay your house, they go catch you and they make you go to the army.
Oh my god.
So that's why I kind of I learned a lot from my family, because my family is very healthy in Vietnam. So but my parents doesn't want me to be the homeboy or something. So they made me go to work on the field rice, see how the people doing, how to grow rice, how to grow vegetable, how to fish thing, taught me everything there. So that's what I learned. I go to school there. I have very good grade there. I'm very smart kid, during that time. But I have to help them, at least 2 or 3 hours, a day, about 5 days a week. So I learned a lot from them, how to grow everything.
Did you get a chance to hang out with friends?
Oh yeah, I get a lot of friends hanging out with my friends, during the weekend. So So we, play a lot each other, and we go boating, fishing together and playing a game together, outside, by the yard, in the backyard, front yard, But because the village is very friendly, everybody know each other.
That's great. That's good. That's good. So, what is your relationship with your parents now, and how has it changed?
Oh, my parents now, they don't alive anymore. They pass away, especially my mom passed away, before I get a chance to see her. So, I left my